We were very naive going into this about like what it would really take to build a business, not just an app. And so we're always like, if we really knew like all of this and we had to like actually talk to CFO, like financial people and look at numbers, like would we really? So it's like really kind of good. We just jump right in, kind of extremely naive and just having fun with it and going along and really falling in love with the product and not just the idea of building a business. And I think that's really what's helped us and carried us. It's just now falling in love with Switch, falling in love with the initiative and carrying it out from there. So like now the hard things don't feel as hard because we know we're working towards something greater.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Epiphany Off the Cuff. My name is Rick Meekins. I'm going to be your host today, and I'm joined as always by Hazel Haygood. Hazel, how's it going?
Hey Rick, I'm doing good. How are you?
I wish I could say I'm fantastic, but COVID's got me again. But you know, we're going to push through and make this happen. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness.
We had no idea. You didn't even say
When did
anything.
you get with the COVID bug again?
Yeah,
I don't know, man. You know, I'm thinking, I'm thinking positive though. You know, it's like every time I get COVID, I lose weight. So
Thinking positive
could be
and
the worst thing in the world.
Pass that over here.
I said thinking positive and testing positive.
There you go. Well, folks, I want to introduce you guys to our lovely guests. We have Switch in the house of Corey and Kiki. Corey, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. I'm Corey Staples, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. Went on, played basketball in college, went to the University of Florida. I'm a Gator, go Gators. To all my Gator listeners out there. And then I continued my education at Florida A&M University, Rattlers, where I got my master's in sport management. Now I'm back in Atlanta, Georgia, working in tech sales and just trying to get Switch off the ground and super excited to be here today. So it's nice to meet all of you.
You did all the sign language. You didn't do like something like that with Switch. Got Switch off the ground.
This is Switch. Spider. That's all you got to do.
Yeah,
there you go. I love it.
Just don't go up with it.
Cool. Hey, Kiki, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm glad you saved the best for last. I know that's why you told Corey to go first. My name is Kiana Mincy. Everyone calls me Kiki. I'm from Beaufort, Georgia as well. Corey and I have known each other since middle school. So I went to Kennesaw State University, did track and field there, where I got my bachelor's and master's. And yeah, I reside in ATL primarily, and it's pretty much it. Did I hit everything? I want to make sure. And also my voice. This is not usually my voice, so it's terrible.
You borrow somebody else's? Are you an avatar?
Am I an avatar?
Yeah. Did you borrow somebody else's voice, or did somebody else borrow your body, or?
I mean, just bad decisions. I went out last night and didn't prepare my voice. I didn't party, but I went out. That's all.
Okay. We'll leave it at that with a few ellipses, and we won't put a link in the show notes for that. So, right. Kiki, you guys recently launched an app. You got to tell us about it. What's the big deal?
Yeah, we released it on January 3rd. So this past Tuesday. But you want us to start like how we started the app, or just like what is the app, or why did we start the app, or?
Yeah. Tell us. Well, I guess you gave a multiple choice question. Yes, tell us about the app. Why it's important. Why it's important. I guess what it does, et cetera, et cetera. What makes it unique?
Okay, yeah. So Switch is a live audio-based speed dating app. So it allows our users to connect first and judge later. And so what we mean by that is we're pretty much bringing in-person speed dating to the convenience of your phone. And we gamify that experience, but we really just want our users to actually have a conversation first, prior to seeing a person's full profile and making a decision on them. So with that being said, most dating apps, we call it swipe culture. So they either swipe right or swipe left on profiles. And that's kind of how you match with other users that you're interested in. But with our app and with those apps, you rarely get to a conversation. But for Switch, we're pretty much promoting genuine connections and actually getting to that conversation and prioritizing that. So we put that on the front end and leave everything superficial on the back end.
Mm, mm, mm. So swipe culture is that you're looking at the app. Nope, 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 nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get addicted to that hand motion.
Right. It's a glorified game of hot or not on these apps right now. Just like hot, not, hot, not. So we got to break it.
Oh man.
Oh my
So you guys have solved that problem. You guys are fixing that problem. Keep going a little bit more, I guess, about the user's experience.
Yeah. So Corey, I don't know if you want to take it, and I can like piggyback.
Yeah, I mean, the user experience is something that we thought through just because as dating app users ourselves, we thought like, hey, what would we want to see? What would we want to do? And, there's some books that reference like not taking the user too far away from what they're used to. So we have a scrolling feature in our app, which people are used to scrolling right now. We have the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the Twitters of the world. So we kept that in our main timeline just so we don't want to deviate too far away from what people are used to because then it would be too jarring for our users. So one of the functionalities being that timeline where you can go and one-on-one request someone from that timeline is something that we felt like would be newer for our users, but not to the point where they're like, I don't even know what to do here. So we have a timeline feature that is embedded into our app where, like I said, you scroll, you have that user autonomy, and you can one-on-one with someone. And when I say one-on-one, I mean like one-on-one speed date. These are those 3-minute speed dates with someone instantaneously that you see from the timeline. And then the second function that we have is kind of taking away the user autonomy a little bit, having fun with it, and really just staying true to that premise of connecting first and judging later. It's a randomized chat roulette function. So you press on our logo, it's going to take you to randomized speed dating. And this is where you can now, our app is going to pull from our algorithm people that are within your preference settings, and now it's just going to throw random people at you that are live on that app at that exact moment. So we have two different functions, two different ways that people can get to the speed date, but all in all, it still stays true to, like I said, connecting first and judging later and putting the conversation first. At the end of the day, whether it's through the timeline or if it's through the chat roulette, you cannot have a match, or you can't match or swipe right on anyone until you have a conversation with them first.
Right. Yeah. And also with the chat roulette feature that Corey was describing, that one really gives the user the authentic experience of an actual speed dating experience in person. So with that, that kind of stays true to that method because, if you were to show up to an in-person speed dating event, you don't know who's showing up to that event. And that's kind of the whole point. Those people are probably like going to be falling within your age range because most have to, like, it's usually like a 10-year gap. But other than that, you don't know who it could be. And so that's the great thing about it, is that we really stayed true to what speed dating is, but we were able to virtualize it, but also put in some of the same features that we've done in our actual in-person speed dating events that that Switch has hosted. So it's gamified where it has, we call them conversation drivers. So when even if you're using the randomized chat roulette function or the one-on-one speed date request where the user has the control, either way, you're going to have those conversation drivers, and they're going to be topic based, where you can select them, and it kind of keeps the conversation flowing. So because when you're speed dating from person to person, if we're comparing an in-person experience, you're always going to have to do that same bland introduction. Hey, my name is Kiki. I'm 26. I'm from Atlanta, and I'm a producer. So we wanted to get people out of that redundant cycle. And so even with going prior to getting into that one-on-one speed date, there's going to be an icebreaker question that both of you guys are going to be receiving on the same end. So now you can instantly start that conversation without any hesitation.
So I'm on the app. I'm scrolling through. What am I seeing on the timeline as I'm just like scrolling through on board?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So what you're seeing on the timeline, when users first onboard, you have the option to select whatever ADV or profile photo you want. And then from there, you can record what we call a switch note, which is essentially just a 30-second audio note. You can really show the true you. You can freestyle. You can respond to a prompt. Oh, dating me is like a walk on the beach, or whatever you want to say to grab people's attention. And we really we want users to really have fun with this, because we kind of want to take people back to that old school leaving a voicemail. Like, if you want to sing on your, do a quick rap, and really, I know Kiki probably try to go on the ones and twos.
I would put some bars in there.
Right, whatever.
We get that clip.
Right. We want freedom of expression. You want to do your best poem, please, by all means. But so what you're going to see from that onboarding and on the timeline is that Abby, that one picture, and then you get to play and listen to that audio switch note.
Yeah. And it's only going to be one picture, like Corey said. And the reason why we made that decision is because Corey and I didn't want just an app where users were getting in our chat roulette function and that was it. We knew we had to make it to where users can be able to have the control to, if they see someone they wanted to speak to on that timeline, we wanted them to get that experience of like having that control of initiating that first conversation. So basically, like, we really are trying to virtualize in-person experiences. So it's basically like if you were at a bar and, that's how you kind of met people back in the day. That's still kind of how you meet people. People meet people out networking events and at restaurants or wherever they're at. So, but if you're at like a bar, for example, and you see someone that you're interested in, or maybe they're side by side by you and you guys just start up a conversation. We really wanted that type of experience, but on our app. So that's kind of why we did our timeline like that without having the superficialness of, swiping on it. And it's still forcing that user, not forcing, but promoting that user to have a conversation first.
That is so cool. That is so cool. So it's like I can be at almost like a bar, like anywhere, so to speak,
right.
from your analogy, and connect with anybody, that I probably wouldn't connect with, just because they're not there. And, I can go into a chat roulette and just talk to, any people that, fit my profile and potentially connect with it. Right.
Right.
So I'm open up to more people than I would probably, connect with, one-on-one. Is that right?
One of the prime reasons and one of our focuses came from the fact that when you're on these dating apps right now, it doesn't ever really lead to a conversation. So after the game of hot or not, swiping right or swiping left, you don't actually ever have a conversation with them. You now get thrown into the messaging function where maybe someone says, hey, maybe someone says, hey back. Nothing ever really initiates though. There's really there's no connection. And that's why we were like, if we put the conversation first, you're now able to actually get a vibe and like a sense of what someone's like from, an online profile before actually trying to initiate some type of text messaging with someone. It's just so much harder because these are strangers. So you really don't know anything about them. But having an audio-based conversation, that's a whole different game. That's something where it's like, now I feel more connected to you. We actually had a back and forth and we conversed about some things. So the reason why Switch really came to be is because right now it's just like this, it gets stagnant in the messages right now with these other dating apps. And we wanted to eradicate that and put that conversation first and make them talk to each other.
So you guys told us a little bit about the app. One of the other questions I had, you brought up the idea of conversation drivers. For our audience, tell us a little bit more, or tell us what that is and, what the benefit is.
Yeah, the conversation drivers, like Kiki mentioned before, is really just to gamify dating, make it fun. We know that some people aren't as conversational as others. Some people are more shy. They don't know what to talk about sometimes. And in the event that the conversation lulls, we've implemented these conversation drivers into the speed date. So whether or not you're one-on-one speed dating with someone or speed dating with someone from our chat roulette, you'll have the option while you're in the app to look through our conversation drivers. So this is categorized by life, music, food, and different things where you can just click in a category and it's going to pop up a random question that's going to ask the both of you, and it's going to just pop up on the screen. And one thing to definitely emphasize is there's no keypad during these speed dates. It's all audio based, so it's just going to pop up on the screen. No one's typing, and from there you guys can converse about the subject. And this is also a way that we think can really get fun in the future when we have other companies, whether local or national, brand your conversation drivers. So say we get like a Marvel, Shooting for the Stars, and they're promoting their new Spider-Man movie, and they want to ask users or bring out a conversation driver about who their favorite Spider-Man is. Just get people talking about their brand. This is now another way for other brands to partner with us and get their name out there on our app, because we'll have the users to spread the word and word of mouth and talk about their brand specifically. So it could be like a Toast on Linux here in Atlanta. They want to promote a new brunch menu that they have, and they want users to talk about, oh, what type of mimosa do you like best? Whatever the case may be, it really just opens the door for so many different opportunities and so many different brands to also put their name out there within our app and get users talking and having fun at the same time. So it's all symbiotic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and in the same sense,
were those like low key like shout outs like, hey Marvel, this is an idea for you? Was that what I heard?
We always use Marvel as our example too.
I'm a Marvel geek. So if that happened, obviously, like I said, shooting for the stars, but that would be, I would cry.
They listen all the time. So I mean, it's like,
Yeah, honestly, we've been manifesting Marvel a lot, Marvel and Disney. But we just know people really enjoy their content. Yeah. So we know like anything with them would be great, like trivia questions in a way. But it's also great for our users to engage with. But the great thing about conversation drivers and icebreakers in the same sense, Switch actually has a great B2B focus, which is actually kind of cool because when Corey and I were really fine-tuning the features of Switch and how we want it to look in our brand, we really focused at first before we even made it to the prototype and before we even hired a development firm to do the prototype. We really just focused on the experience. Like, what did we want to see and why? How do we want it to function and why? And so through just sticking to our passion for Switch, but really like trying to solve this problem in this market, we instantaneously made a way for us to make more money in this market, 3 times more on a B2B focus. And also I think it's great too, because we don't solely have to monetize off of our users, even though we are a consumer-based app. So a lot of these dating apps, they are banking on you. And half the time you're only going to get a better experience if you're paying for their subscription. You're only going to get people that are more aligned to your preferences if you're, paying for a subscription or upsell opportunities, like buying more features. So with us, we don't really have to, not I want to say attack our users to get that money to then give them that experience. We're giving them that experience. And then on top of, we're making even more money because we don't have to monetize off our users. We have other ways that we can monetize. So we can really focus on getting users on our app, giving them the experience that they want, tailor it to their needs. And then on the back end, we're making money in other places other than our users. So I think that's the beauty of Switch as well, is that we really did focus on user experience and only user experience. And naturally, the business side of things fell into place and just in a better way.
Wow.
I think that's definitely a really good point, just because I know also with a lot of these apps right now, they're so focused on how can we upsell our users, or how can we take advantage of them? Like, how do we limit the experience in order for them to pay for more? But in our case, we wanted to provide that full experience and not really have it be too limiting to where you now can't really enjoy yourself in the app or connect with anyone, because we're so focused on how to inhibit that for our games.
Yes. And it's funny because I remember like just going back and forth. Me and Corey were on the phone. We used to be on the phone for like 8 hours a day trying to do Switch. And I'm like drawing, and we have like these bootleg PowerPoints trying to design the app. And it was fun because we really enjoyed the process. And it was so much fun just enjoying that process of making Switch and how we want it to look. And, with Corey, we always do like the stuff that we probably should have done first. We save that for the end. Like, we have fun first, and then we do business later. So that's probably not the best way to go about it, but honestly, it's built something great, and it's honestly worked out for us. So,
you have been practicing since like middle school, so
I've literally been cutting up on the court since middle school. We played basketball together, and it was never a serious moment when she and I were together. But I think we say this all the time, though. To that point, is like we were very naive going into this about like what it would really take to build a business, not just an app. And so we're always like, if we really knew like all of this, and we had to like actually talk to CFO, like financial people, and look at numbers, like what do we really? So it's like really kind of good. We just jump right in, kind of extremely naive, and just having fun with it and going along and really falling in love with the product and not just the idea of building a business. And I think that's really what's helped us and carried us, is just now falling in love with Switch, falling in love with the initiative, and carrying it out from there. So like now the hard things don't feel as hard because we know we're working towards something greater.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Ignorance is bliss when they say that. Ignorance is bliss when they say that. Like, it is.
Yes.
Because like I remember calling Corey when I first told her the idea, like maybe within that same week, and we were on another call. And I remember I was walking my dog outside in Connecticut, and I was like, "Yeah, Corey, we can have this app out in like 3 months." And like it's not a big deal. People make apps all the time. Like it's not that hard. All we got to do is just hire this business to do it, and like here, it's like done. It's cost like $1,000. Absolutely not.
Literally, this is the exact conversation. Oh yeah, 3 months. Like we could do it in 3 months, and then it doesn't even cost that much. Like we didn't even like we didn't know.
IPO by next year. Like
IPO by next year. There you go.
Yeah, it was terrible. Like, we look at it like sometimes we look at old documents when we were trying to do like build a business strategy or whatever. And it says like, we'll get 50,000 users in the first month. I was like, what were we on? Like,
that was really sunken. Yeah, it's really like sunken. So it's been a good thing though. It's really helped us grow. So I wouldn't change anything.
Well, since you're on that track, tell us about the journey. Tell us about how you got started and how this has evolved into what it is now.
I think the timing for us has always been great. Like at the top of 2021, I had the initial idea for it, and Corey and I were actually kind of just getting back connected because obviously we were separated through college and just the busy life of college and being student athletes. And so, and at the time I was living in Connecticut, and I think you were still in Florida going to grad school. Were you? No, you just graduated grad school. Okay, cool. Yeah. And so, I just remember when the idea just kept coming to me, and I had already told like a couple of friends. And so I remember Corey, she had hit me up and she was like, yeah, I just started this new job. I have a lot of time on my hands, and like, I really think I'm going to get into coaching just so I can do some more with my time. And I was like, well, girl, like I have this great idea. Like, I feel like it's really good and I really want to start it, but I don't know. I don't want to do it by myself. And so I told her the idea, and not thinking anything of it. Like I had already told a couple of friends, like putting it out there to see, like trying to gauge them to see if they would want to work on it with me. No one really responded like that. But Corey called me back the next day. I'm sorry, my voice is terrible, but Corey called me. Corey called me back the next day, and she was like, "Hey, like I love the idea. Like when are we starting?" And I kid you not, like maybe like a few days later, we had already filed our LLC, and I was working like midnights. I was working at ESPN. And so I worked overnight. And then Corey, she just didn't do her job. So she had all the free time in the world. And so I remember we would work from 9 a.m. to like literally 6 p.m. on like Google Meets and like building, you've seen our original pitch deck, building out that and doing research. We had documents and documents of research of dating apps and how they started and all this kind of stuff. And so, and then after that, I would go into work. And then I wouldn't do my job because I would just like text Corey. So, we just had all this time on our hands, which is great because right after that, for that like year, we didn't. And also we both moved back to Atlanta. So those first few months in February 2021 until May, we literally had started the business and built the prototype. We had the prototype by May 2021. And so at that point, it was the business stuff. We were like, okay, what do we do next? Corey can kind of elaborate on that process because I try to blink out when it was kind of traumatic for me.
Great. You leave me with the fun stuff.
I have fun first. You can do the business later.
After we had the prototype made, like I referenced earlier, we had to really grind in and look at the business side of things. And so that journey was pretty like not gruesome, but it definitely made us dig deep and think about things that we had never even thought we would have to think about. And so we were able to really make really great connections though. In the meantime, one being the amazing Rick Meekins, but honestly, if it weren't for like the incubators and the different networks of people that we were in contact with, honestly, Switch could have definitely easily just stopped it being a prototype. And so now actually developing those business things. And we're still in the process now of taking a look at everything, taking a look at our market, our projections, and everything that comes with that has been hard, but it has been definitely just a learning experience. So and it's been, I would say, like the most interesting part of the journey is just there are so many people. Like I said, we've networked with so many people, met so many different amazing people. There's different advice coming from different places, from so many different people. Like they all contradict each other, because in all actuality, like not many people actually, have built a successful dating app to where it's like there's one blueprint, there's one thing to follow, one guidebook. So we've also had to have the discernment of picking like which advice we need to really go with, because there are just so many different people that have different opinions. And that has been a very interesting part of the journey of really knowing what we should do and following our gut. And for the most part, Kiki and I are like this, but when it comes down to like making the decisions and really coming together to get on one path, I feel like we've really done a good job aligning in that way and just following what we feel like would be best for the business. So I really enjoyed that part of the journey as well.
And also, I don't want to skip over like the main part. And this is always going to be the main part of why businesses, early startups, either they do well or they don't. Especially for us being Black women founders in a space that's not even seen that before. I want to pass over this main point. It's the funding. So even like, I know we said February 2021 to May 2021, we grinded out and we got a prototype. Like, it costs a lot of money to get a prototype. I do want to make that known. Like, it costs, by the time we like got lawyers to do trademark and then found a firm, we were all in by like 15 grand. It was about 15 grand, a little bit over that. And there was no easy path to that. We don't have that sitting in our bank account. So I do want to talk about that because Corey and I, like, thankfully we were set up really nicely. Both of us had good credit. And so we were able to, that's the only thing that really got us, no, for real, that was literally the only thing personally that got us access to business credit cards. A lot of people say, like, when you're starting a business and you're trying to build your business credit, you have to like go get a business credit gas card or whatever. And then there's all these tiers. Corey, being very ignorant to everything, we were like, all right, we're going to need a credit card, put it on the business credit. And so luckily with both of us having good and decent credit, we were able, the first credit card we got was from Chase. It was like $2,500 that paid for our trademarking. And then once we finally found a design firm or whatever, well, it was trademarking and other things. And then once we found our design firm, we were like, crap, we need another credit card, because they gave us the price of like damn near 10 grand. So we're like, crap, we need another credit card. So we applied to Navy Federal. Luckily, gave us $15,000. Like, that's just like, first of all, it's unheard of for them to give you that amount of money. Like, even like if we applied, we could have gotten a smaller amount and we would have had to figure it out how we're going to get the rest of it. So honestly, like, God's always been a part of this, because like, there's no reason why Navy Federals gave us $15,000 for our first business credit card. That does not happen. I want people to know that. Like, it's like 5,000 or 3,000 and things like that. So lo and behold, we racked up 4 credit cards. So now we have a lot of money that we need to pay off. But either way, you kind of have to do what it takes to get it started. And then then leading into that hard season of figuring out, after getting the prototype, we were like, okay, we need financial projections. We need a pitch deck so we can pitch to investors and all this kind of stuff. And then that's when we started the incubator and met you. We had been following one of our angel investors, and the way that aligned to that we ended up meeting him in person, like all God. And we kind of manifested that in a way unknowingly. And so he was our first investor off of our prototype, and we weren't even trying to pitch him. We were networking with him. And he liked the idea so much, and he was like, here, I want to help you guys get started. And without that, Switch would not have just launched this past Tuesday. So I do want people to know, like, funding is very hard. And then after that, we raised a family and friends round. So, and we also, Corey and I were naive to that. We're like, there's no way we're going to raise the amount of money we need to. Like, all our family and friends are broke. Like, they're not going to, like, not that they're broke, but like, maybe I'm projecting, but no, but no, they're not gonna. We need like at least 50,000 or more to get what we need, and at the time, and it was like I don't see our friends and family investing that kind of money, and we need this sort of minimum per person. And I remember like we were on a bunch of calls before you found WeFunder for us, because also some certain crowdfunding platforms are supposed to help businesses, and then they tell you to have submit your pitch deck like as if they were the VC, and then they don't let you on the platform. And we're like, that's the whole point of like startups. They're like, we don't think you'll have an aggressive campaign. Like, what do you mean? Like, we're a startup. You're supposed to let us have like show you better than we can tell you. And so, just even finding a crowdfunding platform to let us not jump through all these hoops. Like, we had already like applied to 5 different platforms and got denied or didn't hear anything back. And so, even just finding the platform was really hard, and then finding the people to invest. But luckily, our family and friends came through. We had about 38 investors. Minimum was 1,500. We raised 70,000 in a month. So we're like, that was
time. No, I wanted to kind of dive more into like how we got there, like with our family and friends. Like we would set up meetings, whatever day of the week with them, and just show them our prototype, show them our pitch deck, tell everybody about it, host meetings with everybody that we knew, because we knew that it was going to take
4 times a week.
Right, exactly. Pitching 4 times a week, virtually or wherever, like running into people. Hey, look, I have this, app coming out. Do you want to see our pitch deck? And really having to grind with our family and friends, because asking for that type of minimum, we're asking for $1,500 minimum. That's not just like chump change, So we really had to show them what Switch could be. And like, I'm still so grateful to all the friends and family that believed in us in those early rounds to really give to Switch and believe in our brand. So they're really at the foundation of that, as well as our angel investor. And I'm just so excited to go from here. I just already feel like we've been walking in an ordained path. And if we just continue along that, just like the blessings continue to overflow. So it's been amazing. I'm just so grateful for everyone who has believed in us thus far.
Yeah. And honestly, like through this whole process, like every time we get to a roadblock, because there's always a hoop or a hurdle to jump over. And so like every time we get to it, we're like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? And it's like, there's no way. Like we look at it from an optimistic standpoint. And honestly, I think going through the process of like getting the business credit cards to pay the prototype, and then getting an angel investor out of nowhere, and then raising 70,000 in a month from family and friends, then winning a pitch competition of $10,000. Like now we're starting to get more confident. We're like, oh, we got it. Like they got to pick 5,000 companies. Be like, we've done it before. So we're actually getting more confident as we progress. But there's always this new hurdle that we're like, ooh, that looks tough. Like, I don't know how, we never know how we're going to get through it, but somehow we get through it. So, like super lucky and blessed. And I think that's just the great part of having a business partner. You're not really going through things alone. Like you have someone to like lean in, and especially when both of you guys are passionate about what you're doing, and whether you bump heads or not, at the end of the day, you both have the same goal of making this business successful and expanding it to what we know it can be.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I like both of you are such an inspiration to all women entrepreneurs out there. That is so amazing. So if we can like drill down a bit into the pitching process, I know you mentioned manifestations, blessings, and I totally believe 100%, but also there is the legwork, definitely. So just want to drill into that a bit. So like, what do you think was the clincher that really sold the startup to your investors?
What was
something that really sold the product to your investors, made them really want to believe in your products as much as you passionately believe in them.
I think that the best part about this process and the blessing of it is the fact that we've never really had to sell the products. Like the minute you explain Switch, people like instantly get it because they understand the issues right now in the dating app world. They've experienced them. They're fully familiar with it. So when we present the vision of Switch, it's just as simple as talking about it. Almost instantly, people are like, oh my gosh, I get it. Like that sounds amazing. And so I'm not saying, oh, it was just as easy as, oh, telling someone about Switch, here's $1,500. But like I said, hosting those meetings where we're showing them the prototype and showing them our pitch deck and where we feel like we can go is really been what has helped us. And that legwork is what's added on to just the simple fact that the vision of Switch and our initiative is something that so many people feel. It's the sentiment of so many different people, especially in our demographic. And so it's never really felt like I've had to sell anyone on our idea. Never like, oh, wait, just look, one more try. Like, we have been very blessed to have such amazing feedback to people who see it, they believe in it, and they know that it could be something really that could flip the current dating app market on its head and transcend every stigma that's currently out there.
Yeah. And I think also, like, when we tell people about it, despite them already getting it, you can see their excitement. They're like, oh, what about this? Like, you guys should do this. Have you guys thought of this? Like, they start giving us ideas and we're like, yeah, we already got it. Like, we didn't tell you all that, but we already have that in the document. But you see them get excited and inspired and throw out their ideas and of what we can do with the foundation that we've already built. And so I think that's another thing. But also, like, just from our family and friends, I think Corey and I realized that people actually just believe in us. And I think that was not the shocking part, but we started to realize, like, people would be like, yeah, I'm going to support you. Like, I feel like anything you've done, Kiki, you've always been successful, whether you know it or not. And, like, you already inspire me. And, like, I know you're going to make this what it can be. So we realized, like, people sometimes, like, it wasn't just the idea. They're just like, I believe in you. And I'm like, really? Like, are you sure? Cause I make questionable decisions, but but either way, like, I think that was the great process of, like, just hearing that people really invested in us as founders. And I think also they've been a part of our journey. I know my friends, they were like, my friends that invested, I know they didn't even have the money, but they took it out of their savings and gave it to me. And so, I just really appreciate them. And
so you guys, you're in beta right now, and you're looking for beta testers. How does someone, get on that list? How does someone get to become a beta tester?
Yeah, our website. So you can go through our website and sign up. And then we'll send out.
What's your website address?
I'm sorry, myswitchapp.com. So MYSWITCH app.com. And so you can sign up through there, but also on our Instagram bio, we've just put that link out there. So it may not give the user a ton of instructions, but they can kind of figure it out. Like, it has instructions on that link. So they can download data straight from our Instagram. So, and then also, like, if they know someone that already is on Switch, they can share that same link. So those are different ways right now that they can get access to beta. It's pretty accessible.
Directly to the beta download, or is there a sign up page? Or
so if a person goes through our website, that they'd be signing up and subscribing, and then they will eventually get that link with more detailed instructions. But if they want it right now, they can really just go to our Instagram bio, and the link is directly linked to our beta. Like, as soon as you click it, you download Test Flight, an app called Test Flight. And then once you download that, you download Switch. And then you're on. So it's really accessible in our Instagram bio. Our social handle is Switch_app_.
Okay, cool. Say, I heard the show, watched the show, and I want to invest. I think this is a great idea. Is there a way that we can do that? And if so, how do we do that?
I believe people, like, if they really are interested in investing, or so we're going to be actually launching on Kickstarter and WeFunder, and about to get into our next rounds of funding. So they can stay updated by just still going to our website and subscribing, so they can have access to those updates. But if they want to be like, I want to throw some money at it right now, they can email us at info@myswitchapp.com. So that's the email. They can email us directly, and then we can respond from there.
Cool. So it's just like Cash App at that point.
Yeah,
I just got an Zenless at this point.
What did you say, Corey?
No, I was saying yes. We take all forms of payment. If you want a Cash App donation, please, by all means, $70,000. That's all good. Just Cash App.
If you want to mail it to us,
whatever the Lord places on your heart. But yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Ladies, thank you so much for being on the show. Folks, thanks for watching another episode of Epiphany Off the Cuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, make sure to get our updates every time we drop an episode. Take care. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Thanks for watching another episode of Epiphany Off the Cuff. Please make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next episode is going to drop. Don't forget, we're on podcasts as well, so you can catch us on your favorite podcasting platforms. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Epiphany Off the Cuff.